June 26, surrendering self-will. Our fears are lessened and faith begins to grow as we learn the true meaning of surrender. We are no longer fighting fear, anger, guilt, self-pity, or depression. Basic text, page 27. Surrender is the beginning of a new way of life. When driven primarily by self-will, we constantly wondered whether we'd covered all the bases, whether we'd manipulated that person in just the right way to achieve our ends, whether we'd missed a critical detail in our efforts to control and manage the world. We either felt afraid, fearing our schemes would fail, angry or self-pitying when they fell through, or guilty when we pulled them off. It was hard living on self-will, but we didn't know any other way. Not that surrender is always easy. On the contrary, surrender can be difficult, especially in the beginning. Still, it's easier to trust God, a power capable of managing our lives, than to trust only ourselves, whose lives are unmanageable. And the more we surrender, the easier it gets. When we turn our will and our lives over to the care of our higher power, all we have to do is our part, as responsibly and conscientiously as we can. Then we can leave the results up to our higher power. By surrendering, acting on faith, and living our lives according to the simple spiritual principles of this program, we can stop worrying and start living. Just for today, I will surrender self-will. I will seek knowledge of God's will for me and the power to carry it out. I will leave the results in my higher power's hands. I'm Herb the Dictaholic, and this is Just for Today. You know, sometimes we go in for a job interview, for instance. I'll use this as an analogy. And, we can research the company. We can, go through and kind of review all of our skill sets and all the things that we learned that are pertinent to this particular job. And, we could dress to a T, look very professional, have our folder or briefcase ready with all the paperwork, all our certifications, resume updated and contact list, references, whatever you want to call it. We have everything is like prepped as we can, and we can go in ready to answer questions and ask questions, right? Because I think that's very important when you're in an interview, because you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. So you show up, you're confident, you're ready to roll, you have a great interview, but you still might not get the job. And really it's out of your hands at that point. It's up to the employer and all the other candidates that they've been interviewing. And, at the last minute, maybe they don't need anybody. Maybe they don't hire anyone, or maybe you get the job and you end up not liking it, whatever. There's so many things. And as an addict, we start to think about all the what ifs. And all the fears kick in, and then, we try to control the whole situation. But really, all we can do is our legwork, our part. I know that I did my best. And if I don't get the job, well, it wasn't in the cards. It's not in the stars. However you want to see it. It wasn't part of my plan. It's not my path. And, I might be hurting for money, and I really need that job. Or, oh, this is the place I really wanted to work my whole life, It's tough. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes surrendering that will, self-will, over to a higher power and the plan that's beyond our understanding. And, maybe a poor analogy, but it's what popped into mind. And there's several things in life that we can do that with, our relationships, work is one of them. And recovery, we could do our part. I do what I'm supposed to do. I go to my meetings, I talk to my sponsor, my sponsees, I work the steps, I do my readings, I pray, meditate, give back, 12-step, go speak, go be of service at functions and events, whatever it is, like I'm doing my part. And listening, meditating is listening, and I listen for guidance, and I look for the signs that tell me which direction to go, what feels right, where am I being pulled to, versus like where I think I should go. I think I should go because, and then I start entering my addictive logic, and I might find myself in a bad place, and then I feel also like, let's say I go on God's will, it might be misperceived. I might not get the messages correct, and I might end up in a bad place, or maybe the higher power wants me to go through a bad place for some lesson, you know, and really trying to figure all that out ahead of time doesn't always work, mostly doesn't work. And it creates a whole lot of stress and anxiety that I don't need. So instead, you know, I just do what I can today, in this moment, and get as much done as I can in each moment, and hope, you know, that I'm being guided in the right direction. And all in all, when all is said and done and I'm on my deathbed or wherever it is that I'm dying, I can look back and be like, you know, I did my best. And even though I ended up in some bad scenarios, I was meant to be there for some reason or another that maybe I wasn't meant to know, and maybe I won't find out ever. And if I do, maybe it won't be till after I'm dead. I mean, who knows? And I used to let those thoughts bother me, but now I can just let them go. And it makes life a lot easier, a lot more fun, a lot more stress-free, anxiety and fear-free, which is, you know, kind of the goal. And it allows me to be in the moment and not so stressed out about the future or the past. Thank you guys for coming out. Hope to see you tomorrow. Keep coming back. It works if you work it.